What's going on, everybody? This is Drew and JC here, and this is the Paranormal Podcast with the Punk Rock Attitude Sasquatchers. That's right, we have a Sasquatchers episode again to fulfill all of your paranormal needs. We have a really cool guest that we're going to talk to after the intro. Of course, you all knew that.
Woo! Drew and John on the airwaves, seeking mysteries that can't be explained. Sasquatchers chasing shadows in the night. In the realm of the paranormal they ignite. Sasquatchers podcast pioneers, unveiling the unknown with curious ears. From specters to Bigfoot, they dig deep. Sasquatchers on a quest that's unique.
Still as cringe as the first time I saw it.
I don't care how cringe it is. I like it.
I think I've gotten used to the decibel level though, so it doesn't bother me as much anymore.
I realize how loud that is now. My beats were effective tonight. Now I'm extra deaf now. So we are here tonight with, you know what? I've made the terrible mistake of not figuring out if I'm going to pronounce her name correctly, but I'll take a stab at it.
Yeah.
Stab
Kelly,
it!
Is it just Kelly Schaefer or?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
you get points. You get points.
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
I could see Schaffer. I could see that.
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
thing.
it actually, if you type it in like that to Alexa, she comes up with Schaffer. So I had to put the E in there, so she comes up with the Schaefer. So it's just blame the folks at Ellis Island. That's all I have to say.
Thanks, Ellis Island.
Thanks, Ellis Island. You made it very difficult for me to find my relatives.
Thanks for losing the documents.
I mispronounced Frank Farrell's name last week, and this is like one of the episodes that it was like a dream episode for me, and I felt like a real putz the rest of the night. So I do like to verify that before the shows, and I just haven't been. So I'm glad I got it right. But for anybody who's
I wondered which one you're going to screw up on. Is it the Kelly or the Schaefer? I'm like,
yeah.
Okay, let's see where it goes.
Actually, it's Kelly, not Kelly.
Kelly, it's Kelly.
Yeah.
Well, anybody not familiar with Kelly?
Game of Thrones.
Oh man, we don't talk about Game of Thrones.
No, we don't have enough. We don't have enough incest orgies for Game of Thrones.
My head will
All
explode.
right, I'm out. That's it.
We will get banned
too.
from YouTube. Just
Peace.
the anger levels that I have. Yep. Oh man,
Oh,
he's
there he goes. So yeah, I think he did very well on that one.
awesome. Why don't for anybody not familiar, go ahead and kind of introduce yourself and all of your many businesses.
Where the fuck do I start? So I'm Kelly Schaefer, and I started out as paranormal investigator, and now I'm paranormal adventurer. I wrote a book called The Paranormal Pages Collection 2 because there will be a collection 1 because there will be a collection 2. So I'm working on that one right now. Podcast host, I do the Cemetery Files with JD Hill, and then the Paranormal Triangle with JD Hill and David Taylor. And my group is called the K2 Paranormal Research. It's about 10 members right now, I think. And then my most recent business exploit is exploit. That might not be the right word for it. Expedition. Kelly's Haunted Adventures, where I connect together small groups with larger events. For instance, small groups of like 3 or 4 people, they don't have enough people to get into Waverly. So we put all these small groups together and we go in and take on the bigger locations.
So I think one of the big questions for all of our listeners is, what's the difference between a paranormal investigator and a paranormal adventurer?
Oh, let's see. I think
The word.
the adventure for me, the word for me, the adventurer is just it encompasses everything because I'll go anywhere to do any kind of paranormal stuff. I do the Sasquatching, I do UFOs, I do ghosts, I do oddities, everything. So it just hit me today as paranormal adventurer. So that's what I am today.
I like it.
Usually I'm a researcher, but
I like it because it's not really tied to anything though. Like you can just
yeah,
go out and chill and have fun
yeah,
and try. Like you're not
yeah.
tied to like, oh, I gotta investigate and
Yeah.
research.
And that's been basically my year this year is going out and just doing adventures. And for instance, I went up to Fort Duffield where we've got Sasquatch and UFOs and ghosts and everything and just sat around the fire listening to the stories all night long. It was blast. And I was hoping I would see Bigfoot, but I didn't get to see him that night. So
See, when Drew and I do stuff like that, we just end up in the woods in like the middle of a snowstorm, and then we just got drunk. Like that was.
We made a pretty killer documentary out of it.
We
but-
did. We did in like was it even 12 hours? It was like 8 hours. We made a documentary.
Yeah. It's shameless. I'm going to say shameless, even though it's probably shameful. Plug on that. You know, anybody listening, if you
I
haven't
feel
saw
ashamed
that.
about it. But, yeah.
But
all right, good show. Okay.
you you have a lot of stuff. You were talking about your 7 businesses before we went on the before we started recording, and you know, some of the best stories tend to start at the beginning. So, how did you get into this stuff?
Mhm.
We lost her
Absolutely.
audio.
Yep. Coming in clear. Oh,
Oh
we're doing
man,
very well.
Kelly, I don't know if you can hear us, but we lost your audio. We lost your audio.
Punch it.
I don't know what I didn't even touch it.
There you are.
I didn't
Oh,
even touch it.
you're there. We got you now.
I didn't even touch the button. I didn't touch it.
Someone doesn't
I'll
want to
vouch for it.
know. Somebody doesn't want
Well,
these secrets getting
that's
out.
to be. I've had a couple of things happen in the last couple of days, so I don't know who's here.
It's your FBI handler.
No, he left years ago.
Aw, sorry.
No, I started out in books, in bookcases in the library, and read myself silly for years and years and years, and then was told all of it was fake, all of it's not right, you know, it's not there, and then yeah, it is. So I went ghost hunting with my daughter because she wanted to go on a ghost hunt with Amy Bruni, and I got hooked. She didn't. And well, she came out a couple of times after that, but she got touched a couple of times and says, "Nope, I'm out. I'm done." So I carried on by myself as a researcher for years and years. And then finally, when I came to Tennessee, I had people come into me saying, "Hey, can I come hunt with you? Can I learn what's going on with this?" And I'm like, "Sure, come on aboard." And it just grows from there. Right now, I've adopted so many people that right now we've got a rule in the group that I can't adopt anymore. They have to be cleared by the rest of the members.
Whoa. Bringing in some
Yeah.
shady folks there.
We've had a couple of problems, but it's okay. It's you always get that when you have a crew. That's just the way it is. That's
Especially in this field, right? Like
yeah.
sometimes there are people.
Yeah. Our crew is pretty professional. All of our crew is a professional outside of their life. So or outside of their paranormal life. So I've got a crew of professionals right now that they're a thrill to work with. I
That's
love
good.
hunting with each and every one of them.
Yeah, because I mean, so many of the uh, I, ghost hunters, investigators, researchers, everybody all like. If there's one thing everybody can agree on, it's that they run into that issue with you have your troublemakers and
Well,
the
you,
people
you
that
don't if you really want to think about it, it happens everywhere.
It does.
It happens in every single field, every single business, everywhere. And it's not just the paranormal. You're always going to run into somebody that's not jiving with you. That's not vibing the same way you are, and it's perfectly fine. We all vibe on different frequencies, and good luck to you. And I hope you have a nice life. That's the way
Yeah,
it
Drew and
is.
I have had that problem with this podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, where you just don't jive with anybody. Yeah, I know.
No, I mean like
Yeah.
with each other, but
with
that's a
each
separate
other.
issue.
Well, that's the reason why you're in two separate locations on two separate cameras, and you can
Mhm.
boink each other out. So
Well,
Yeah.
that's
I mean,
been
we
my
boink each
point
other
of
out when we were in
contention.
person, but that's a separate thing.
That's why we have to be in separate rooms.
right,
Rooms, we're in
right.
separate states.
There you go. See, yeah, I just hang out here in Tennessee and have a good time.
So
What
did you
is
go
it?
to Tennessee for a reason, or did you? Is it
My
for the
job.
paranormal? Or
Well, I lived in Oregon, and was not enjoying it any longer. It wasn't my home state anymore because of all the changes that had happened there. And when my job went remote, I'm like, "Can I live anywhere?" And they're like, "Yeah, you can live anywhere." And I threw a dart at the map. Here I am. I did have a friend here in Portland, Tennessee, Jim Corley, and he had my motorcycle and he had my dog, so I had to move to Tennessee.
coming for the dog at least. You keep the motorcycle, but I'm
Oh
getting the
no, no,
dog.
I'm coming for the bike.
So it's funny that you moved
That's
to
my
Portland,
bike.
Tennessee,
Yeah,
when you lived in Oregon with
Portland.
I
Portland,
lived in well,
Oregon.
I lived in Portland, Oregon. Yeah. And
Ah,
it really messed with the movers. I loved every minute of it. They're like, "You're moving to Portland and you're why is this a long distance move?" I'm like, "Cuz it's Tennessee." Oh.
Tennessee is a beautiful state. I think
Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
people overlook Tennessee, but there's all kinds of cool stuff in Tennessee.
It is probably one of the most beautiful states I've ever been in. The people here are just fabulous. Whatever you've heard about Tennessee, believe it, please, so that you don't
Mhm.
move here. Um,
Yeah, please stay
but
away.
yeah, please stay away. I've had people ask me if Governor McCall in Oregon had actually been successful when he did the "Don't Move to Our State" campaign, and I said yes, he did. He put signs on every single freeway coming in. Don't move here. And yeah, it worked for a while, and then they took him down and people moved in. So I don't know what
Thanks,
Tennessee's gonna do.
thanks, California.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. But I love the people here. I love the state. I love the history. Oh my god, the history here is just phenomenal. And having it be within the period of time that I absolutely love which is about the 150 years from about 1750 to 1900 is just my time period. I love the whole thing. I love all the growth that humanity took and some of the down stuff too, but the history is just, oh, phenomenal.
Yeah,
Just phenomenal.
you're in that hotbed of like Appalachia
Mhm.
and the Shenandoah Valley, and that they're in Tennessee. So you've got like you got stuff coming up from
Everything.
you have like the stuff coming up from the south, and then you got
Yeah,
Appalachia
yeah.
and
And when you get onto a location, you have to figure out, okay, when did they get here? Did they get here before or after the Civil War? Were they here during the Civil
mm,
War? Were they not here during the Civil War? Did they move here with the 40 acres and a mule? Where'd they come from? So most of the people that moved here from Tennessee came from North Carolina and the states that are just above North Carolina, Pennsylvania, a couple of places like that. But my family was always already well entrenched in Pennsylvania, so we didn't come down to Tennessee. But I'm pretty sure if they would have not liked Pennsylvania, they would have moved here because it's great. It's got
I'm
everything they wanted.
I'm counting down the days that I can move from Pennsylvania to Tennessee. I was there for the first time last year. I went to Pigeon Forge
mm,
and
mhm.
Yeah,
Gatlinburg.
Pigeon Forge. Yeah, just move away from there because that when I went into that area, I went, oh my god, it's Tahoe,
Oh
and
yeah,
I
yeah,
no longer wanted to be there.
yep, I
So
see.
it,
Yeah.
it, it reminds me absolutely about Tahoe, hands down. So I didn't want to be there any longer, so I went off adventuring. Cades Cove was pretty good. That was out of the wayside, so I went over there. I went over and stayed on that side of the park. But
Yeah, I loved every minute of it. Yeah, anything that is not Pennsylvania tends to. Uh,
where are you in Pennsylvania?
I'm like Central PA. We're both originally from the Pittsburgh area, but we moved away.
My parents are from New Kensington.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
really? I'm from Leechburg.
Yeah, there you go. Leechburg.
Yep.
I'm from Katanning, so not far.
Actually, my cousin lives there. Do you know the Hellenes?
In Katanning?
Yeah.
I do not, unfortunately.
Okay. Well, if you run into them, they're my relatives.
The
wow.
Hellenes.
The Hellenes. Yes.
I will be back. I will be back in Katanning next week. So
I
we'll
am-
see.
And
I'm
my
playing a
cousin's
softball game
actually a
there.
lawyer. Are you really?
Yeah,
My cousin's
Saturday.
actually a lawyer there.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's really
Bradley
cool, man.
Helene.
I worked at the courthouse, the government building in Armstrong County where Katanning is.
Wow.
I was in the IT department though.
Well, no.
So, but I probably at some point interacted with them at some, juncture and didn't even pick up a name from it. Helene.
Yeah.
I'll have to keep
Yeah.
that in the
But
back
that
of my head.
Hellenes and Schaefer's. Yeah. Yeah, they were in New Kensington for a long time. My dad was born and raised there. My mom was born in one that's south of Pittsburgh, and I can't remember the name of it. And they got married up there in New Kensington and lived there for a little while by the insane asylum.
Yeah.
And then, in fact, my mother would tell stories about the insane asylum being over the back fence wall. So, I'm like, and you didn't hop it and join your fellow brethren.
Right.
So, and then they moved to Iowa, and that's where I was born.
Yeah, that's
What
wild.
part of Des Moines or Rapid City?
I was in Cedar Rapids.
Oh,
My
Rapid.
father-
Yeah, okay. See, Rapid City's in the Dakotas. Cedar
Yeah.
Rapids. Yeah.
I did Cedar Rapids, and my dad was working for Collins Radio.
I've heard good things about Cedar Rapids. Is it
It's a pit right now.
really?
Oh yeah, I drove through. It's a pit.
I mean, it's Iowa.
Yeah, it's Iowa.
What?
I love Iowa. I still love Iowa.
Corn, tornadoes,
Corn, tomatoes, beef,
I like beef.
soybeans. Those are
can
the only
live
things
without
I
soybeans.
remember. Oh, I love soybeans. Oh, have you ever eaten them raw, or excuse me, roasted with salt on them?
No, I've had like the wasabi ones that
Oh,
come in
they're
like
so
the
good.
tins. Those are good. Yeah.
They're so good.
And this is taking a weird turn.
Yeah, I wasn't
Welcome to
expecting this.
food. Welcome to paranormal food.
I mean, that's
That's
not a
actually
bad idea.
that's
Yeah,
no, it's not a bad idea.
that's not a bad idea.
Somebody's already doing it. I think it's called Paranormal Kitchen, I want to say. Yeah, somebody's
Oh
already
yeah,
doing it.
yeah, I know.
Damn it.
I watch it on Facebook Live sometimes. But
It's interesting.
I'm a chef, so maybe I'll steal the idea.
I'm newly discovering all the foods that I like, so I'm enjoying myself right now.
Oh, I hate
Same.
it.
Yeah, after my 20-year marriage, I had no idea what I liked myself. So I didn't eat for a while because I couldn't figure out what to eat. And then I got a cookbook and started making food again.
And then you find out you like everything.
It's like, ooh, yummy. The one thing that I really enjoyed was Brussels sprouts. That was like my number one thing. I freaking love Brussels sprouts.
I love when you get them like real crispy, like in the oven with some garlic and maybe like a
you just put them in the skillet with some bacon grease on the bottom.
Would be good too. Yeah.
Drop them in a
salt
fryer.
and pepper. Oh.
Drop them in a fryer, salt, pepper, and then what you want to do is you want to add a little bit of like lemon aioli.
That
see,
would
the
be
lemon, the lemon and the Brussels sprouts, my tongue can't handle.
Oh, really?
It does not like that combination. And that's probably the reason why I wouldn't eat them when I was a kid.
So we're going to find out whether we're going to continue talking to you here or not. Are you one of these people? Are you one of those people that cannot eat cilantro?
You mean it tastes like soap?
Yeah.
Not normally, but occasionally I have had the problem, so I understand it.
Yeah, my sister is 100% like she cannot. Anything that even has like a trace of cilantro, it tastes like dish soap to her, and she won't
tell
touch
her she's genetically defective. Then
I have. Well, she knows that
her whole life.
Yeah, she's known about that since at least the age of 5.
before she ever tasted cilantro.
That's just if
Oh
she's
my God.
genetically effective.
I
love it though. Like you give me
I like
cilantro, I'll eat it
cilantro.
raw.
Oh
I do.
yeah,
I love
Yeah.
cilantro's a really nice little herb. I like cilantro
basil.
a lot.
I love basil.
Love basil. Love basil. I've
Basil on
got
some naan bread with some butter.
oh no, basil, fresh basil, chopped up, put on top of mozzarella cheese, on top of a slice of heirloom tomatoes, drizzle a nice balsamic vinaigrette all over it. Oh, yum. Yeah, yum, yum, yum.
On this episode of The Watchers, watching food.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go play a different intro.
Do you have a food intro?
I'm legitimately hungry now. I didn't eat dinner, so
Dinner.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
so
Uber Eats me some McDonald's.
see, I just can't do the whole Uber thing. It's no,
Oh,
no.
that
Waiting just ugh.
Saturday morning when you're hungover and you don't want to have to deal with like getting in your car and stuff.
That might be the good one.
That's
But
the
I don't
only
get
it's the Chinese food or just like a ridiculous amount of McDonald's is what I do.
I usually do after a paranormal investigation. I'll do waffle Sunday
Ooh,
from Waffle
yeah.
House.
I
I just
imagine
go do
that's
my waffle.
that's probably a pretty popular thing is to hit up, and like a Waffle House or Denny's or something like that when you're
I
leaving a
thought I saw
location.
another team in there, but I'm like, is that a team over there? Or are they just random shirts or something? But I'm already awake. I'm already showered. Yeah, it's probably like noon by the time I'm hitting Waffle House. So
The
yeah.
Waffle House here in Cleveland has booze.
Probably just Budweiser, right?
No, actually, well, they have liquor. Like you can get like screwdrivers and stuff like that, and they're heavy handed too. So it's like a double when you get them.
Oh, see, I'm off of vodka right now.
I've been off of vodka for 20 years.
I had a vodka martini 2 weeks ago that just hit me wrong. Sometimes alcohol hits me wrong and I get really, really messed up fast. And this is one of the nights. So yeah, I'm off of vodka for a while. But yeah.
Cool.
I'm liking coming to Tennessee and having the whole moonshine thing. That's an experience.
Like
Now, have you
legitimate
had like
moonshine, not the stuff at the
legit
liquor store.
moonshine?
No, it's not the stuff at the liquor store, man. This is the stuff that comes off of the back of fucking pickup trucks.
Yeah.
And you got a guy that maybe has 3 teeth in his mouth. Meanwhile, you're sitting there with your spoon of moonshine, lighting it up with your lighter, trying to figure out, is it burning blue? You know?
What's the percentage on this? I got to figure it out.
Yeah. So I've gotten a couple of quarts of moonshine from the real guys, and I put out the word the other day with some of my friends that do it. I'm like, okay, if anybody's got a bad batch that you can't sell, I'll take it.
Yep.
They're like, why? And I said, never you mind. I make Florida water with it, and I make sage water with it.
This is my Tennessee ranch water.
It's my Tennessee ranch. Oh, there we go. It's now named Tennessee ranch water. That's all there is to
There
it.
you go. You got it.
Yep. I called the sage water spirit chaser, so that kind of helped.
Yeah.
But
Taking in the Holy Spirit there.
in fact, I'm going to write that down.
Spiritus Sanctus.
So anyway,
well,
that's
here we
our
are.
show for tonight.
So I'm curious what locations in your area you've really enjoyed researching or adventuring at. Every time we have somebody on that does this stuff, everybody kind of has a different answer for that, which kind of excites me considering so many of like the larger locations tend to be bucket list locations for researchers,
Right.
but
Right.
it seems like everybody kind of always agrees that while the bucket list ones are cool, there's always these awesome ones that yielded amazing results that nobody would have ever expected. So I was curious about that.
I've got the Octagon Hall, which is 15 miles away from me. And the Octagon Hall never disappoints. Ever, 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 ever. I've had some of the weirdest experiences out there, and my dog just alerted, so hang tight.
No.
It's okay. Yeah, she alerted to something, and all my doors and windows are open right now.
Just a home intruder. It's fine.
Yeah, home intruder. She'll eat it. Yeah, I see you. Where is it? Where is it? Yeah, it's okay. No, I think it's a cat. So I've got the Octagon Hall, which is 15 miles away from me. Never disappoints. Have had some of the weirdest experiences up there. It's usually at minimally a once a year thing for our crew to do. It's a great training experience because there's so much to do and so many different kind of hauntings out there. She's so excited. And then I've found though, even though that bit, and then Thomas House is up the road about 40 miles, I think it is, which is, it's okay. We're going to be having a women's retreat up there, and I'm excited to do that with a bunch of the chickies that I go out there and hunt with, and get to know them a little bit more better and spend the night with them. But the ones that have really gotten me is I work residential and business inquiries as well. If a business is having problems with hauntings, they call me in, I go in and research it, and they give me whatever confidentiality level that they want so that I can either talk about it or not talk about it. We have one right now that is extremely interesting to me because when they first started talking to me about it, I'm like, okay, it's down in Murfreesboro. It's a newer building. I'm like, what's going to happen here? What is all of this all about? And I started doing some research on it to see if it was even worth my effort. And it is literally dead on the Trail of Tears. It is 200 feet from where the Stone Creek battle started. It's also within hundreds of yards from a couple other historic events. And I said, yes, I'll come. So we went out there, and one of the biggest reports was that they would hear whistling at night. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. Pipes can whistle. And as we went in, somebody went into the bathroom and flushed the toilet, and sure as shit, pipes were whistling. I'm like, make that note. So continued the research, continued doing the investigation, and Pamela and I were sitting back there on the couch, just talking and letting things happen and going with the flow. And all of a sudden, we hear the whistle. And this wasn't pipes. It had pitch to it. It had depth to it. It had tone to it. It was a human being whistling. And it happened about 3 different times and left me with just my mouth gaping open going, what the fuck was that? And went into the room that we heard it coming from. There's nobody in there. Everything's shut down. Everything's cool. So I start doing some research on the whistling and trying to figure all of that out. And the only thing we can come up with that seems to be viable is we've got 2 Civil War soldiers talking to each other at night. Because the Civil War soldiers would talk with whistles to tell people where they were at and what time it was and all kinds of different things. And I want to record these whistles next time and see if I can find somebody that can interpret them for me.
Oh yeah,
Somebody that's familiar with military whistle.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I'll keep going back to this place until I don't get anything more from it.
I
It's
think
good.
haunted Civil War anything. I don't know what the appeal is, but it is just like super appealing to me. And I don't know if it's because like I'm not like particularly into that era of history or anything. Like I'm not like a Civil War guy, so to speak. But you know what I do remember in elementary school of all places, we had videos that we got to watch as a class that featured a story about the Blue Boy. I don't know if anybody's
Yes. Oh, know exactly what you're talking about. Keep going.
okay. So the Blue Boy was like a Civil War era um,
Cryptid.
ghost or phantom that that showed up, and I can't remember all of the details. I was in like fourth grade when I saw this video, but it's stuck with me my entire life ever since. Where he would like appear in windows, and it was like a little like a child, boy, and his complexion was blue, and um, that has always just kind of been there in my head. And I don't know if that's the reason why I'm so enticed by Civil War hauntings and not so much about Civil War or anything else. But I think that that era is just ripe with paranormal stuff that just continuously is interesting.
I'm looking to see what the Blue Boy is because if it's a spirit, it's something that I don't know about yet. There it is. Found it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Apparently it started at a Pennsylvania college prep school.
Yeah, yeah,
Woo!
that's true. That
No,
I
when
remember
you
that.
say the Blue Boy, I think back to the people here in Tennessee, and I think it's here in the South, I should say, where their skin tone is a color of blue, and it's because they lack a certain mineral or enzyme or something in their system.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
had somebody contact me and say, "Hey, I want you to do my family line." And I said, "Okay." And they said, "By the way, we're related to the blue people." And I'm like, "What the heck are you talking about?" So I had to research the whole blue people thing and then go in and do their history. And sure enough, there's some very questionable relationships in that family line.
Yeah, there was something had to do with like a mineral deficiency and then
Yeah.
incest that
Yeah.
caused
Yeah, I
people to
found
have
it.
like a blue tinge.
Yeah, I found it. I know the two people that did it. But yeah, that was
Busted.
busted, man. Yeah, it was really a very, very interesting research project. I loved every minute of it. It just led me all over the place. And that's one of the things that I have and I don't talk about it very much, although JD Hill wants me to talk about it more. I do have gifts as a medium, but I don't tout them. Mm, I I don't advertise them. They're all for me to keep me safe and to get me out there ghost hunting and tell me what's around the next corner. But one of the gifts that I first noticed early on was when I do ancestry, the ancestors come and start talking to me. And they tell
Very
me where the
cool.
records are. They'll tell me, "Oh no, that's not me. That's not me. That's not me. Nope. That oh yeah, that's me." And it's a lot of fun actually sometimes. I had one guy that wouldn't shut up though until I discovered his secret. Once I
Oh.
discovered his secret, he laughed himself out of, into the fade. So his secret was that he actually came to the United States legally and falsified all the information on his naturalization papers. And I found it. And I took it to their family and they had no idea. They had no
Took it to
idea they were originally.
took it to INS and got him deported. they
Nah.
deported they deported a ghost.
Nah, I believe in hanging yourself, my son, in my
Ice
own
is
book.
relentless these days.
Are they really? I haven't seen them lately. But
But
yeah. So
have you
yeah.
have you encountered any other Civil War
Yeah.
ghosts?
Yeah. My first full bodied apparition was a Civil War soldier. I was looking
What?
downfield and this story is actually in the book The Paranormal Pages Collection 1 because there's gonna be a collection 2. So collection one has the story in it where I was sitting in a cemetery hunting with a bunch of folks, was looking downwind, couldn't figure out why all these little fires were popping up all over the place. And being a fire survivor, having fires pop up spontaneously around landscaping kind of gets you a little nervous. So I'm watching everything and I'm watching each one pop up, and I look over at my friend Jim and I go, "Those look like bonfires." He goes, "What are you talking about?" He couldn't see them. And I was seeing all these campfires. And I saw this big huge one in this other field that was adjacent to the the cemetery. And I'm like, "Oh, somebody better be taking care of that one. Oh, that one's getting really, really big." And this guy walks past the fire, and I'm like, "Oh, he's taking care of it. It's okay." And I'm watching the guy walk away from the fire, and he starts disappearing from the knees up until he
Wow.
didn't wasn't there anymore.
Do you
Yeah,
remember what uniform he had?
it was
Was
brown.
was
It was brown. It was khaki. It was gray or brown, or I don't know what color it was. All I remember is it looked like it was brown. Um
So Confederate, most likely.
Maybe. I don't know who it
I'm pretty
was.
sure Confederates usually wore brown, and the Union wore navy.
Yeah. So, don't know.
yeah,
It disappeared before I could get down there. So I really want to go back there. In fact, I contacted the person that owns the cemetery and asked them if we could go out there and sit in their cemetery for a while, and he goes, "Absolutely not." And I said, "But you've got other people that have been going out there and doing paranormal investigations in your cemetery." And he goes, "I've what?"
Uh,
And apparently the guy that took us out there is doing it without permission, and continues to do it without permission because that guy didn't want it. He didn't want me out there. So I asked him point blank. I said, "Have you given permission to anybody to be out there?" And he goes, "No, I have not." So
that's not cool.
yeah, and that's the reason why we keep losing locations, because people are not being respectful of private property or of the property that they're given access to for a short period of time.
Yeah,
It's
and,
very
and I
disappointing.
and I understand those worries too, because sometimes people are destructive, right? Like even
Oh yeah.
even if you come in with good intentions, but then people leave garbage or they trip over a tombstone and knock two of them down.
Yeah, I mean, I can see accidents and all that kind of stuff, but I've also seen some behavior in locations that is very it's chaotic, disruptive, and not appropriate. So,
Yep.
all right.
you know,
Well, I wonder how many tombstones Zach Baggins has knocked over trying to sidekick a ghost on his location.
I was over him back in 2018, so, you know.
I try to dunk on him at least once per show.
He's 6 years out of my purview. So, yeah.
But
He's
yeah,
he's not impressive.
the location thing. I remember not too long ago, and this might even be the same person. I had seen a bunch of controversy on Facebook that a group was going out with a guide who ended up not being part of the ownership of said location. And there
Yeah.
was a really big thing. And there was like they were like threatening like lawsuits and stuff over it. And then nothing ever really came of it. It just kind of settled. The owners took care of it, but
Yeah.
uh, I remember the investigators felt like enough wasn't done, so they started to, I guess, blast him on Facebook and on the internet, and were like posting pictures of his car that he had clearly purchased with the fraud that he was doing. And I don't know. I don't know where I stand on that portion of the story, but I that is definitely a thing that is happening, and I think that's why a lot of the legitimate locations kind of upscale their costs now, which I was going to ask about because you seem like a really straight shooter. Now, I'm not a person who has done an investigation like this. I have not yet rented a location out. We are currently filming a movie, and we had a location that was perfect for the movie. And I was talking to the people who own the land, and they had given me this rate that like my mouth dropped. I was like, for 8 hours,
Mhm.
that you want that? And I come to find out that they also are very popular with the paranormal investigators. I guess it's a hotbed for that. And then I was like, okay, well, that makes sense. Unfortunately, like, paranormal groups seem to be willing to pay whatever people are asking for. But am I crazy to think that a lot of the pricing on these locations for people to go in and investigate have just kind of gotten astronomically high?
Well, the pricing that I've gotten, the pricing that we've got a different thing going on here down in Tennessee. It's not like up north, where you've got a whole bunch of people running around doing weird things. It's very calm down here. It's not too bad priced. Most of the stuff that I'm buying, that I'm renting out, is very reasonable. If it's not reasonable, I won't rent it. The only one that I really went over the top with was Brushy Mountain, but I had over 10 people that wanted me to do Brushy Mountain. So I rented out Saturday night, and then one of our team members said, "Oh, I really want to go, but I can't go on Saturday night. I can only go on Friday night." So I said, "Fine, I'll do Friday night too." So I managed to get 24 investigators for 2 nights at Brushy. So I think we got a couple of duplicates over the 2 nights, but that was 1750 for one night, but that's Brushy.
Well,
Um and
what
current pricing.
what would that be like as far as one night goes? Like, is that like an eight
That's
hour?
one night. That's one night, 7, 8 hours, I think is what it is. I think it works out to be
Okay.
about 8 hours. Yeah,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
that's yeah. So that's a very expensive location, but it's also one of the huger locations. And I don't know what the square footage is on Brushy. We're going in there. We made the promise back in February when I started the venture planning that none of us were going to research anything about Brushy and go in completely cold and figure out and find out what it is that we experience there, and then match it up to the other things that go on. So uh Brushy's the biggest one I've done so far, but mostly everybody else is just so reasonable. Um and like I said, if they're not, I'm usually not going to go unless it's something that unless I can really guarantee myself that I'm going to get some kind of evidence. Um that's what you have to go against, is, am I going to get some evidence? Am I going to bring something home with me? Is it or is it just gonna be a dead night? I've traveled hours. Like, I went how far is it up to Rockport? No, Rock Island. Went up to Rock Island and just dud. Every investigation was a dud. Nothing. No EVPs, no motion, no nothing. So, it's a really expensive hobby, and I think with the locations coming out and starting to get insurance and all that kind of stuff, and teams having and requiring the biggest thing that I've seen with locations right now is that they're requiring insurance, and they're also requiring that you what was the other thing? Insurance, and that you have more than 2 years experience out in the field.
How could you guarantee that? Like,
It's usually through Facebook pages. They look to see how long your Facebook page has been up,
Well,
no.
I'm golden then.
right? Yeah,
But,
I can show him evidence clear back to 2010. So yeah,
yeah, but like, that's annoying to me. I don't know. I don't want to sound
it's
like I'm
not. It's not. It absolutely is not. And in my opinion, putting it up there to where you have to be 2 years in the field or more takes out some of the thrill seekers. It takes out the ones that are only there to get themselves scared. They're only there to take pictures and play around and whatever it is they want to do in this haunted location. And with them putting down, with location owners putting down that you have to be in the field, you're weeding those guys out, and you're also getting people who know how to investigate, and they've had the practice over the last 2 years to do that.
Well, yeah, I mean those are great points, but that would also isolate somebody like myself and JC who technically
No, that
aren't researchers and want to do this at
well,
some point.
that's when you hop on with Kelly's Haunted Adventures. And you come in under my 15 years experience and you go on an adventure with us to a bigger location.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you
Well,
that's one of the ways that teams can get around it is you do collaborative hunts. You get together with another team and y'all go. And
well,
sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't work out.
up here in the north, like I see a lot of collabs, but I think it's because people are just like pitching into the pot to pay for it. 'Cause they
That's
are like
the other thing. Yeah, that's another thing is, the more the merrier and the less the price. So, yeah.
right.
I figured for I mean, I figured for a verified haunted location that is active, active, I'd say $50 a head. That should be the mean for it. Anything over that, you better guarantee me I'm gonna see something good. So I usually try to stay within a $50 a head range. Brushy was 143.75 per person, so I'm hoping we get something really, really good.
I'm not familiar with Brushy. What is that location?
Brushy Mountain State Penitentiary is up in the Gatlinburg, well, up in the Oak Ridge Mountains, I want to say. Um, all I can it's near Oak Ridge, and that's where the Oak Ridge boys are from. That's all I know. And then the prison was stopped in I've done very little research. So is that my research? No, that's not my research. I don't have my research on me right now. But the I think it was 90 something that it was stopped. But the guy that Sirhan was there in the prison.
Oh,
It originally started as a work camp for leased prisoners from the state of Tennessee to go and work in coal mines. So there's a minimally 2 coal mines up there that the prisoners originally worked at. It started off as just the wooden structure with many, many windows. I've seen the picture of it, and then it evolved into the prison itself that's shaped in a cross, in a Spanish cross, and built out of the Tennessee Lime. So the prisoners built the prison themselves, and yeah, it's going to be a pretty hot little lumber over there because it's got a lot of different activity to it. You've got prisoners that are there, you've got guards that were there, you've got visitors that were there, you've got just all kinds of different things. There's something in the kitchen. Oh no, excuse me, it's the cafeteria. There's something in the cafeteria that we've been warned about, and we're kind of. I think all of my team's kind of anxious to get to the cafeteria first.
Um,
'Cause-
as a chef, I could say that every kitchen is haunted, and
oh yeah,
I I I don't know why, but every restaurant I've ever worked at, the kitchen is haunted. Even if it's not, people are convinced that the kitchen is haunted. And I worked at a place last year that I was kind of helping out with while I was also doing my daily chef stuff. And they told me this place is haunted. This place is haunted. And I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. And they showed me this video. They had somebody working on the hood vents up above
yeah.
where the equipment was at. And he's visibly shoved. This person
Oh
is
wow.
shoved off of this ladder, and he fell down and he broke his. I can't remember if it was his back or his hip, but he
Oh
and he
my.
didn't. I saw this video. He did not. He did not fall. He is shoved by some invisible thing, shoving this guy. He fell down and he got hurt. It delayed the opening of the restaurant by like 8 months or something like that. And I was down in that basement, and when I was down there, I have never felt so more uncomfortable and so unwelcome. And like there were sets of very evil eyes on me. And yeah, so that's the only time that I've ever actually been like skeeved at a place. And I had to close
So
that
what
restaurant.
is the address of this place?
I can. It's up here in Pennsylvania, but I'd be happy to share their
It's
information.
the Kentucky Fried Chicken in Butler, Pennsylvania.
Turned out it was just the manager there.
No, it's just it's stuff like that that I'm like, and the address is,
They have
and
like
nothing
this.
scares me anymore.
There's this old abandoned train track right behind the building, so the atmosphere just kind of also is strange and unpleasant and unwelcoming. But yeah, closing that restaurant was not fun for me. And I'm not typically someone that spooks easy, obviously, with these interests. And the next couple of times that I went down into that basement, I would announce that I was coming down. I was just like, look, I'm just coming down to grab some French fries, man. Leave me alone. I don't want anything to do with you. And
guys, I'm coming down. I'm naked. I am also afraid. I am naked and afraid. I'm just getting the fries. So
but yeah, it
you're
was
telling me you guys didn't make your own fries? You had frozen
that no,
fries?
hey,
Ew.
this was not my place, and I was just helping out while they were opening. Um,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
good people too. Now, you'd be surprised how many of the actual
Good
giant
people minus the
locations.
demon in their restaurant.
Yeah,
No, we don't use that D word.
I
Somebody
yeah,
use
asked
the
me
D
having
word.
somebody asked me one day how when I would consider a place having a demon in it, and I said, well, after it's been certified by three demonologists. I don't
yeah.
use that term loosely.
That's
I will.
that's a point of it's a
I'll
point of
slang it.
contention with researchers too, because that's another thing where like you'll have some researchers and investigators that everything is a demon. And then
Yeah,
you have that other side of the coin where, like you just said, where we don't use that word. It's always
yeah.
interesting to talk to everybody with their various levels of I don't know,
Well,
opinions on it.
for me, the reasoning comes from what I understand. And we'd have to go way back on that one. But if you take it from a Christian point of view, it's said in the Bible that the devil works in secret, that Satan works in secret. So number one, if there was a demon there, nobody would know it because it wouldn't make itself known. And number two, if it was to possess somebody, it would make sure that that person wasn't talking either so that it could get further work done. So if someone's going demon, 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 I'm like, no, 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 because you're not going to be talking about it. Flat.
Yeah.
You won't be talking about it.
I also am curious, like, what would the purpose of would would this demon's purpose be to be stuck at a
And
restaurant in Crescent,
why
PA?
every right? It's like you're not using your head, folks. You're not thinking back to Sunday school. You're not using your head when you're talking about demons. You have to start thinking back to those lessons that we had when we were in school and Sunday school, because that's the way it is. And he doesn't let anybody know he's there. And from the person that I met that had a bit of an attachment, that I don't know what it was. It wasn't human. Um, he just thought he was sick. He never once said the word demon. He just thought he was sick. So
Uh, I remember in the press packet that you sent, you talked about like looking at UFO books with your dad. So
Yeah.
I was curious if you ever had an experience with that, or have you researched that realm of the paranormal at all?
I've done multiple readings on the paranormal when it comes to UFOs and UAPs and all that kind of stuff. My dad was in the Air Force and sent fighter pilots out after UFOs as a radar guy. So he knew they existed, and we were just lay out in the back of your lawn with the inner tubes and watch for UFOs all night long. And I often wanted one to come and get within view instead of out there in the stars. And I got my wish in 1989 when I had a UFO 10 feet above my car.
Oh wow, what was that like?
That's a story that's in the book.
Go read the book,
That's
Drew.
you gotta read the
Sorry.
book, Drew. So yeah, I it was 10 feet above my car. There was no question that it was a UFO. There was no question that I was not the only one seeing it because the entire freeway was swerving to miss it. So that's just yeah, I would love to see it again. I don't have I think now I've kind of evolved a little bit where I'm not so fearful of them anymore. Um I figure, the way I'm going to go is the way I'm going to go. So if that's my way to die, that's my way to die.
But I'm gonna punch
So
an alien while I'm doing it. One of those little Jello heads. They're getting it.
Yeah, there's
I feel
smell.
like
I
did
got
you ever like
I've got
punch an octopus?
no.
I feel like that's what it would feel like. Like
They're intelligent creatures. No.
I eat them. Don't am I not supposed to do that? There's actually a thing like people are like against that. They're
I
delicious.
don't know. Yeah, I know. And it's, today they just released the news that they think that that elephants call each other by name. So
I'm gonna eat them too. So
yeah. I don't think we eat elephant. I eat alligator though. Alligator's pretty good.
I love
give me
alligator.
Now we're back to food.
I'll grill an
Well,
elephant. Somebody give me elephant meat. Ship it. I'll
do
grill it
you
up. Let's do
do you
it.
have gators in Tennessee? Because I have like an
I
irrational fear of alligators.
I get them shipped in.
Uh,
I order them from New Orleans and have it shipped up. Yeah.
uh,
I love alligator. Yeah,
I make
anything Creole. Oh, yes.
a killer alligator soup.
Oh, I
I
love
don't do
alligator.
reptiles.
Oh, alligator is like the best chicken out there.
I'm sure. I just
It's
I don't.
very delicious.
I'm just over here eating the super smart octopi.
Right. And you're leaving the dumbass alligators alone.
Yep. They're too dumb. If I can't have a conversation with them while I have them on the grill, I don't want it.
Yeah, I just yeah. Um I'm really interested to find out if they're actually UFOs in the ocean. That's a fun one for me right now
Yes.
because it makes perfect sense. I mean, the under the sea world is just as big as the upper sea world, and
Yeah.
well, you can have a
We
whole
haven't even
Atlantis
seen.
down there.
Yeah, we haven't even explored like what like we've seen more of
Yeah.
the moon and Mars than we have of our own ocean.
Yeah, that's the thing that also pisses me off. You want to go off onto Mars and we haven't even gotten the problem solved here? Awesome idea.
Yeah, I'd want to go too. I'm done. I'll see you
Look,
guys later.
leave these
Taking my
problems behind.
octopus and I'm out.
Head to
Let's go
Mars and
ruin
gonna-
start a whole
another
bunch.
planet
Yeah.
We're gonna breed Martian octopus.
that actually say your name as they're on the grill.
Well,
That's I'm good. That's what I'm gonna see when I grill some tomorrow.
See, no.
Punch it in its big jello head.
Here comes the
Here's
men with
some
the little white coats.
Yeah, he's banned from
The
the
octopus were talking to you.
pet store in Cleveland because he kept taking barbecue sauce over to the parrots and taunting them.
Polly wants some octopus. Polly wants
I
some
wear a
barbecued
trench
octopus.
wear a trench coat to the pet store for a reason. Those aren't bird noises. That's just my shoes squeaking.
God. The image is in my head. Go
This
away.
episode's gonna get canceled.
Yeah. Wow. We're at an hour already. That was nuts.
We should-
questions. Yeah.
This should have been alive. We should have done this live.
Yeah. Well, now we know that next time we talk, we'll make it alive. We'll turn it into an event because this was a lot
There
of fun.
you go. Yeah, you should get Jay in here on it too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you need to get Jay in here with me on the next one.
Yeah,
Yeah, him and I together are dangerous. Dangerous.
we can set that up for sure.
Sweet.
Do you want to go ahead and plug any of your stuff, all of your links, where they can find your book?
Let's see. First of all, we've got the Paranormal Pages Collection 1 from Amazon. It's available in hardback, softback, and Kindle. The audiobook is coming up as soon as I can free some brain space to get that handled. And then the other thing that I'm launching this year, I just launched this year with full force, is Kelly's Haunted Adventures. We do collaborative hunts with small teams to get them into big locations, and then we do public hunts for the novice and beginner hunter or public that just want to see what it's all about. And we are not what you see on TV. Novices and beginners will be teamed up with a seasoned investigator so that they can get the real experience. And hopefully this is going to be something that takes off and I can access more people that really want to know more about the paranormal, which is my biggest passion.
Awesome. Yeah.
First
everybody-
foremost, only to food. Second,
everybody check out the stuff that she's doing, and it sounds really cool. This was a lot of fun. You're obviously a cool person to investigate with. I think that shows just from your personality on the show tonight. So I hope
I'm an entirely different person investigating. My team can tell you that.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It sounds like
I don't know. It's I'm a lot more quiet. I'm much more quiet. I don't talk a whole bunch. I'm actually an introvert, so talking for me is
me
I'm
too.
gonna
Actually.
I'm gonna go to the living room after this and shut all my windows and doors and just sit in quiet.
I'm gonna go to my bedroom, shut the windows and doors, pull the rope down from the fan, and do my thing.
he's been promising that for a year now, and he hasn't. But anyway,
But yeah,
thank you for coming on. This was a lot of fun.
you're welcome.
We
Thanks
will
for having me.
absolutely do it again.
Cool. Have Jay come with me next time because
yeah.
us together
Yes.
is weird.
If we ever make it down to Tennessee anytime soon, we'll make sure we.
Come on down. Warn me ahead of time. I'll have something set up for you.
Fantastic.
I hope it's grilled octopus.
No, you're gonna have to have what we all eat down here, and that's raccoon.
Oh, okay, I'm in.
willing to try. Willing to try it once.
No,
I mean,
kept
raccoons
getting
are a lot
threatened with-
cuter than octopus. Like,
I keep getting threatened with bunny rabbit and squirrel, and I'm like, no fucking way am I eating either one of those. They're in my living. They're in my yard, and I love them. No, you can't have them.
We used to call it NRA camp just because like everybody at camp had guns. There were so many guns up there, and we'd go there. And one time we had chili, and I wasn't even thinking twice about just eating it. You know, it's good. It was squirrel chili.
Oh, I bet that was good though.
It was actually.
Yeah,
If nobody told me,
I
I wouldn't have known. It was just ground,
yeah.
like, you know, it was no chopped up meat.
If you don't tell me and you take the bones out, I'm okay. But if
Yeah.
no, I can't do the bones.
Now, if I
Once
bite
I
down on a
see
bone, somebody's getting an uppercut.
nope,
We'll have
I
to
can't do the bones. I see how
keep,
small they are. I know what they are. Nope, can't do it. Mm-mm.
keep that in mind next time we're visiting the Jeffrey Dahmer restaurant.
Right?
but, but all right, thanks for joining us. We'll go ahead, we'll hit the outro. Everybody check her stuff out. Very cool person. I've really enjoyed this. I'm sure everything else that you discover will be just as fun.
Thank you
Uh,
so much.
yeah, have a good night,
Thank you.
everybody.
I will. You too. Y'all have fun.
Thanks.
The preceding program has been brought to you by the Watchers Podcast Network. If you enjoyed the show, please like, subscribe, and share with your friends to help grow our network. Check us out on all social media platforms, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts. And until next time, thanks for your support.